We are on the drone ultimatum, so let's start with drones.
Ukrainians are in a sunny afternoon reducing, right, the Russian strategic bombing fleet by a quarter, by a third, right, in an afternoon, 2,000 to 2,800 miles away from the front line. Whoa, that's eye-opening. How do we respond to that?
Church Hutton is the Chief Growth Officer at AV, a company that's leading the way in unmanned aircraft systems and autonomous robotics for defense and national security. A retired Army officer and combat veteran, he brings decades of experience in defense strategy and government relations to help drive AV's continued innovation and growth.
This right here is what was one of my favorite products, Switchblade 300.
AV pretty well invented this category.
What's the latest? What are you seeing right now on the battlefield?
So you've got a battlefield that is sort of iterating in a cat and mouse game, you know, on a sort of a 2-week timeline, right? Here's my effector, here's your counter effector, oh, and it changes again and again and again. Now we need licenses. We're going to move that product across a border. We're going to put people in Poland. We're going to update that product. We're going to get a new license from the government and move it back in to Ukraine. That's a 6-month process. I had an interesting conversation and sat through a briefing and sort of lecture from Admiral Paparo. And he says,
that's really important for the startups that listen to this to know. Like, I feel like people should know that. This is this special emergency AUSA edition. We could have no other guest than, which is pretty much my favorite defense company in the biz, AeroVironment. AV. Is the ticker symbol AV? AV. Yeah. You know, I'm a shareholder, full disclosure to the listeners, but not a big one because, you know, I got my money in my startup. But
do you know where that name came from?
No, where'd it come from? Oh, bring this a little closer too.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So where the name comes from. So Paul McCready founds what was then AeroVironment like 50 plus years ago. And he is the leading edge of a group of Caltech thinkers that are doing aerospace engineering and really like pushing the boundaries. Over time, the business goes from doing what was like originally sort of aerospace forward-leaning innovation to adding a bunch of commercial capabilities, power storage, right? Storing electricity,
Yep.
moving electricity. And so you've got AeroVironment. And so those things become the name. And then we make a number of acquisitions over the years, but then BlueHalo acquisition closes in the May timeframe. And we rebrand as AV. But the ticker stays the same, AV.
Yep. So that's a Jonathan Moneymaker.
Jonathan Moneymaker.
He looks like a Bond villain. Pull up Moneymaker on LinkedIn. This guy looks like a Bond villain. I know I'm meeting him next Friday for coffee.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, I need to get him. I need his advice on how to do a company. Look at this. That's a Bond villain, bro.
Right.
He looks fucking like the man.
If you wanted to cast a CEO,
I know.
That's the guy.
Dude, I know. I'm excited to meet him finally in coffee. There's so many questions I need to ask how to do a defense company right.
You know, he's got a 40-pound brain. His head's in the right place. Like, he's focused on his people. He understands the product and the mission. And he's fantastic.
I'm excited about it. Okay, so Church Hutton, you started in the Army? Well, yeah, give me the backstory real quick.
I did. I started in college, right? Would have taken a path maybe similar to yours, maybe done ROTC, something like that.
Yeah.
After a couple of years of college, I decided, let's enlist in the Army and see what that's about.
Enlisted in the Army.
Enlisted, E1. Wouldn't change it for the world. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Americans are amazing, by the way. They are
We always figure it out.
It's awesome. So enlisted in the Army, was an engineer, went off to basic training, did all that. Then we invaded Iraq, 2003, right? So by then I'm an Army reservist. We invade Iraq. I was like an E5 sergeant. And then I come back to a job actually here in Alexandria. Didn't love it. I needed something. John McCain had an opening for a junior defense staffer.
Oh, really?
And
wow, I didn't know that. Okay, here we go.
A bit of a novelty that there was some guy applying who'd been to Iraq. It's 2004 timeframe, 5. And I went to work on the Hill. Stayed in the reserve. Eventually got a commission in the reserve, and went back to Iraq in 10 and 11. But then did 13 years on Capitol Hill, all defense stuff. right? So worked for McCain, worked for the Armed Services Committee, worked for Joe Manchin from West Virginia, fantastic human, and then went to the Senate Appropriations Committee and did defense appropriations.
So Joe's a Democrat, right?
He is.
But he's kind of like blue. He's like purple.
Nowadays, he's a Democrat in the way that John McCain was a Republican.
Yeah.
Right.
So you've been on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah. But, up there, there's a group of staffers who are painted with a sort of a policy and expertise brush, less a political brush, right? You've got different kinds of, you've got people who are true politicos, right? And people who are true policy experts in their field. And I've just always stayed on the defense side, and so that was the value that I brought to wherever I was.
Okay, and then after that, you went to AeroVironment, or was there something else first?
No, I left the Hill. We started having children, and eventually the math didn't work. So I went to industry in 2017. Went to work for Sierra Nevada Corporation. Awesome company.
Yeah, my friend Scott Beal's there.
Scott Beal, yeah,
I like that guy.
I was there for 4 years. The ability to move quickly as a private company, right? Like this as well as anybody. So Fadi Osman, Aaron Osman, 49% owners of that company, and have just turned it from a really small operation in Sparks, Nevada, into like a significant mid-tier player.
It's big,
right? And they're awesome, and they're disrupting things.
What would you say their primary product lines are?
They do a lot of things. They do a lot of things.
But I'm saying, what's like their best? They're known for
aircraft modifications.
Aircraft mods,
right? And they do it as well as anybody, right? They on the classified side, on the unclassified side, right? They just won a $12 or $13 billion contract to redo the Doomsday plane.
Wow!
Right? So these are
that's fun.
747s, right? Dayton, Ohio, they're killing it.
Wow!
Yeah.
Okay, and then you got tapped, you got recruited.
I sort of was pulled out of SNC to go do a startup with a guy named Will Roper, who was formerly the acquisition executive for the Air Force. Brilliant guy. We did that 10 or 12 months. VTOL drones, right? Looking then at the commercial space, but that market wasn't yet ready.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite ready. And then I went to work for Mercury Systems. Mercury does outstanding hardened microelectronics, right? Like, how do I get the processing of my iPhone to survive the G loads coming out of a 155 right artillery piece, right? Or how do I get a server to function next to an operating nuclear right power plant in a sub? Putting the best microelectronics into military systems. So the theme there was really sort of industrial competition with China, right? And companies like that are like pushing America forward in that space. And then I came to AV about 2 years ago, and it was a very different company than it is today. That was pre-BlueHalo, pre our acquisition of this fantastic company called BlueHalo. And we were, roughly $1 billion, and now we're double that.
Yeah.
And in all the domains doing robotic and autonomous systems.
Let's check the ticker. Pull it up. Let's check that stock price, bro. BlueHalo, though, the acquisition, that brought you a lot of new product lines. And you're the CRO, right?
CGO. Chief Growth.
How do you manage? Oh, yeah, pull up let's look at that chart. Oh, yeah, just ascendant here. Just to the moon. 20 billion market cap. Yep. Damn. Give me some of that money. Let me have some. Come on, bro. I need something over here.
Both on the BlueHalo side and the AV side, in the last 10 years, 15 years, the leadership teams had, they had some prescient decision making, and
I think so.
Put themselves into the markets that are now the markets, right? The hottest, fastest markets, and really lean forward on both sides, sort of investing ahead of need in systems that everybody now needs.
Yeah. How do you manage all these? We're going to talk about a lot of the products today. I'm excited. How do you manage such a large product portfolio now from your position?
It's a team effort, obviously, right? We've got great people. The big centers of gravity, right? We've got a space business. We've got a directed energy business, which is both in space and terrestrial. We've got a big drone business, of course, and I'm talking about sort of ISR, right?
Yeah.
And then a munitions business, right? So strike.
Oh, I didn't know you had a munitions business.
So
Is it like
Switchblade.
Okay, you're calling that to me. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know if it was
yeah,
like 155 shells or something.
It's this is semantics, but
Yeah, no, it makes sense. So
Yeah.
this one could be in the munitions. Here, I'm going to put it up to the camera. This right here is what was one of my favorite products, Switchblade 300, which I would say it's one of the best sellers in the industry, I would say, from a munitions standpoint. Right
so AV pretty well invented this category in the U.S., right? Like this was not being done. I discovered this when I was on the Hill, probably 2014 timeframe, even earlier maybe, and like immediately attracted to it.
There's the camera. There's just two. Is it EOIR? Wait, what's the
EOIR? Yep.
Okay. And what's the Russian equivalent? Is it the Lancet?
So the Russians have
Or
a
what do
couple
they
of
have?
things. They haven't proliferated as much.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But yeah,
do you guys sell that? This sells worldwide, right? This thing.
it does.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cleared to sell. ITAR.
Yeah, it's an ITAR product, absolutely. So we're going FMS,
Yeah.
right? But some of that regulatory regime is changing. So we're going to have some new opportunities.
FMS. That's for my mom who listens. It's foreign military sales, mom.
Yeah.
Sometimes we gotta explain the jargon on the drone ultimatum.
Yeah, right. So the industry provides it to the U.S. government. The U.S. government provides it to the foreign government, right? And so you're moving through governments in that sale.
And then do they take a cut? Government?
I mean,
They should, right?
There's a cost in dollars and
Well,
time.
they have to because they're doing work to like move it along.
And
stuff.
they've got a program office staff, right?
Yeah, FMS is a good model then because it helps industry work with our government and then get revenue from other governments. So it's a good setup.
It's a good setup. It's a very time-consuming process.
Yeah. What's the other version? It's like direct
DCS.
DCS.
Direct commercial sale.
And that's do you do some of that too?
We do.
Yeah.
Yep, we do a lot of that.
This like they get designated. Like some products are designated FMS, some are DCS. Is that how that works?
It's a closely held list. But there are a number of technologies.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's components, sometimes it's like the full end system, right? The end unit that may be designated as FMS only.
All right, cool. So BlueHalo acquisition that closed. What month was that?
May.
What's it? Okay, I sold a company once to DoorDash, and integrating a company is hard. What are some of the challenges you see? Like just integrating a big product, because they're a big company when you integrated them. Like, what's the challenges?
It is. It's not easy, but all of it boils down to culture.
Yeah.
Right? Do the cultures align, and what are those gaps, and like how do you quickly mend those, right? And solve for that. The AV culture and the BlueHalo culture are so close that has really not been the challenge.
That is the number one thing
that we were expecting.
Yeah.
There are other things. The BlueHalo side of the business brings an enormous capability in government sponsored CRAD, right? Which is government sponsored research and development, right? That they're providing as a service. They're doing 6.1 through 6.3, sometimes blue sky research. Sometimes we're getting into applied research on behalf of government labs, right? We're moving forward the state of the art in structures, in coatings, pick your area. And that's very different from AV, a products company, right? And so your go-to-market is a little bit different, and the way you address the customer and the way you plan and execute the business is a little bit different. But we're not facing any challenges that everybody else has also faced.
No. I mean, look, once you like learn the art of acquiring, it gets easier. It's like anything. Like you got to practice it. That's why like Google, they're great at acquiring. I mean, they bought most of their best companies, or most of the best things Google's done besides search has been acquired. But so it's like a core skill you have to be. And in defense, I think you have to be good at it because it's an industry that it kind of requires it. If you look at the biggest defense companies, they've made great acquisitions.
That's totally right.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you're not good at it, you will suffer. There's no question. Right?
Yeah.
Like, so you've got to have sort of product fit, strategy fit, right? Market fit. As we looked at AV and BlueHalo sort of pre-announcement, right? Early 2024, we saw a set of AV capabilities and a set of BlueHalo capabilities that were all immediately adjacent to one another with no direct competition.
Yeah.
We were doing UAS. They were doing counter UAS, right? We were in this domain. They were in the next domain, right? And it all fits. And now, because they've got this fantastic R&D capability, they now, right? We now collectively have government, right? End users and customers who are like, hey, you guys are doing fantastic research on this. We want to accelerate some of the capabilities that are resident in the portfolio, right? And so now we're sort of pulling these things together. It's been awesome.
That's awesome. All right, let's talk we are on the drone ultimatums. Let's start with drones. Drone warfare. Obviously, you've been following the Ukraine-Russia conflict
Closely.
I mean, you guys are a part of it in many ways, I'm sure. You can talk about a little bit, but what's the latest? What are you seeing right now on the battlefield?
So it's changed a lot. You know, we started off, say, 3 years ago plus. There were a number of regulatory restrictions from being, the U.S. government wants to provide support to the Ukrainians and begins to do so. But at the same time, like the ability for vendors to get in and support their products and their offerings and train up Ukrainians, right?
Mm-hmm.
And be able to employ these things, work TTPs, right? ConOps, et cetera. Very, very limited. So you've got a battlefield that is sort of iterating in a cat and mouse game, on a sort of a 2-week timeline, right? Here's my effector, here's your counter effector, and it changes again and again and again. Well, if you're going to have to go through, let's go back to the FMS discussion. If you're going to have to take, right, your product is in, it's being successful, the adversary develops a countermeasure. You can't roll into Kyiv and squirt some software into it, and you're working again in 2 days.
Yeah, because
that product's got to come back to Poland. Right. So now we need licenses. We're going to move that product across a border. We're going to put people in Poland. We're going to update that product. We're going to get a new license from the government and move it back in to Ukraine. That's a 6-month process.
Man,
right?
That's wild.
You just can't iterate as fast as the adversary in that context. And,
this is causing Ukraine to have to do it on their own a lot.
So this drives the Ukrainians, right, to develop an indigenous industry, which is pretty capable.
Yeah, I mean, they're building a lot of drones now. Well, like 3D printing a lot of drones or something.
And what we're seeing is that now they're using our drones for different things, right? Because AV doesn't make $2,000, right? FPVs.
Yeah.
First person.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like we're not making.
Not making these.
We're not making quadcopters, right?
Yeah.
We're making things that go a long way and have some very exotic capabilities. And so you're not going to use a Switchblade. Like the big brother of this thing is the 600.
Yep.
Right? Long range. You're not going to use that to take out a BTR.
What's the range on the 600? It's pretty far.
So we advertise 40 kilometers.
Yeah. There's, of course.
I think I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
But if I can do that with a quadcopter, then I'm going to save my Switchblade for a more strategic, right, or operational level target.
Yeah.
And so at the beginning of the war, those things are being used to kill tanks and troop transports and so forth. Now those things are being used for air defense systems, for early warning radars, right? For, missile tracks, like these kinds of things. It's quite a different usage.
Yeah, they can intercept kind of. The 600 can do an interception, or how does that work?
600 is
designed to intercept.
The 600 is designed for ground strike.
Ground strike.
Right. So it's being launched from the ground. We've launched it from the air. We actually just did a demo, proof of concept with General Atomics, putting them off of Reapers, Gray Eagles.
Oh, cool.
But the way that they're being used most prominently is from ground launch.
Ground to ground.
Yeah, so that's how we use that.
Nice. And the 300 similar, right?
Similar,
just
smaller.
This is packable. You can carry this with you. Right?
Put 3 of them in your rucksack, right?
That's awesome.
And the soldier pulls it out in the tube, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is basically like a drone.
It is.
Just a little bit more capable.
Yeah. People get lost in the terminology.
Yeah, exactly. You clear it up for us.
What is a drone, right? Is it a predator? Is it, something like that's a group 5, right? Is it a group 3 VTOL? Is it a group 2 that weighs less than 50 pounds? Is it a quadcopter that I hold in my hand, right? That I bought off at Best Buy? Or is it one of these? It's kind of, people say drone and it's sort of all of it, but they're very different tools, right? I don't use an M4 where I need a 50 cal, right? Like you've got your beautiful 240 here.
Yeah, we've got our nice 240
sitting on your
bullfrog here,
sitting
on our AI gimbal,
on your bullfrog autonomous weapon station.
Yeah,
right.
This thing takes forever to build, by the way.
That has a particular use, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to shoot down cruise missiles with that.
No,
right. And I'm definitely not trying to take out.
Although I think this will be fast enough someday to take out an incoming Switchblade.
Ooh.
Yeah, it will be.
We should test that out.
It's not ready yet, but I promise.
Let's do that.
This should be able to take out loitering munitions, drones, people, like incoming javelins, like anything.
I mean, the RWS market in the U.S. is pretty big.
It is big.
like Iraq and Afghanistan, those things were suddenly on almost every vehicle.
They're everywhere. I mean, and the market's actually bigger than I ever thought when I started the company. I mean, I was actually at DSI in London with Kongsberg execs, and very nice. I love the Norwegians. They're very nice. They have a lot of stuff going on. That's a cool. I didn't realize like all the stuff they built. That's a cool company.
They do a lot.
Yeah. They have Kongsberg America. They have a big American presence, obviously, because they sell. They basically, a lot of senators and congressmen don't really know that we get most of our gun turrets from a foreign country,
right? From Scandinavia.
I tell them that, and they're like, "What? I can't believe it." And they're like, "I was like, yeah, we should bring this back home."
Right.
But no, the Kongsberg president of the U.S., she's gonna come on. They're gonna come announce her new missile factory.
Oh, nice.
They have a new missile factory in Virginia here.
Where are they doing that?
It's like where is it, like Chantilly or something? I don't know.
It's close by though.
Somewhere closer to Shenandoah.
Okay.
But they're making that Navy strike missile here.
Yeah.
A big one. It's like $3 million. Have you seen that thing?
NSM.
That thing's huge.
Yep.
It's
a capable thing.
I was standing by it in the booth in London, and I was like, whoa, this is the scale model. They're like, no, this is the one. And I was like, this thing is scary. I was like, you do not want to be on the receiving end of that.
Yeah. I had an interesting conversation and sat through a briefing and sort of lecture from Admiral Paparo, right? Commander U.S. PACOM, Indo-PACOM. And he draws a chart, and he's got a line, and he says, okay, up here in the top right-hand corner, we have things that are really at the high end, right? Naval Strike Missile.
Yeah.
TLAM, Tomahawk Land Attack, right? CCA. Right? Collaborative Combat Aircraft. And then so they are both incredibly capable and very expensive.
Yeah.
Right? We got cost on the y-axis and a capability on the x-axis. And then down here at the bottom left-hand corner, we have things like Replicator was trying to field.
Yeah.
Right?
Trying to field.
Mass quantities, right? And low cost point. And in the middle, and he draws a red circle, in the middle, you have the zone of bankruptcy. We're not interested in your thing that's pretty expensive but pretty capable, right? Because we can neither do it in mass, nor can it have the exotic capabilities of the top right-hand corner. That's
really important for the startups that listen to this to know. Like, I feel like people should know that. Like, not everyone gets the same front row seat, because I'm not in that room. So that's good knowledge for us to know. Like, you want to be you got to be one of the extremes right now, basically. You've got to understand the market and where you're going to be in that market. Right? Yeah. Let's talk. Actually, you mentioned CCA, my favorite CCA is my second favorite topic on the podcast. My first one is USVs, but because there's like 50 USV companies and they all crack me up. Yep. The CCA though, pull up the Lockheed one. So most people didn't know this. Most people don't realize. Like, I called this 18 months ago on my podcast, so I get credit for this. But
wait, which one is this?
Lockheed Martin CCA. I think they're going to win the CCA. This is my call.
So they have just come out of sort of stealth.
Well, here's what's funny is because investors that invested in Anduril invested under the guise that Anduril or General Atomics were the only two, because they didn't realize. Because my dad worked in Northrop Grumman for 33 years. I've been in the defense industry. I was in the Navy. Investors didn't realize that invest in this space that it wasn't even increment one doesn't mean anything. That's just like part of the process. But like all the big primes are going to come or still have yet to bid yet or even come in. And so like this announcement shocked all these investors. They're like, what? I thought it was just Anduril and General Atomics. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. I was like, the big boys, they're a little slower to move.
There are a lot of programs with an increment one story to tell.
But exactly. They sit back. But investors who are new to this space, they don't realize. They don't know that. So they didn't realize like how it works. And so I tried to educate them. But I knew very early on that, oh yeah, of course, like a product like this, a CCA, the big primes, this is what they do. Like they lay carbon fiber and they do it really well. And like the startups don't have an edge there, in my opinion. Like these are what the big companies have always done.
These are high bars to get over. High bars to get over.
We're talking about a product like this thing is going to be stealthy. Some of the other two that went increment one, they light up radar more. Like this is going to be a fierce competitor. And I think who else is coming out with one? I think Northrop might be doing one. Yep. Are you guys doing one?
No.
Okay.
No. I think
it's smart to not, by the way. I think it's dumb to try.
So there's, CCA, the definition of CCA changes a little bit depending on with whom you're speaking.
Yeah.
Right. So, collaborative combat aircraft. Okay. Are we talking about a full-size manned aircraft size platform with those legs with similar capabilities that's going to team with an F-35, right? Right? That's where they're going right now.
Yeah.
But there's been discussion about a smaller, less expensive, right, with slightly different capabilities, because there's a lot of things in the sky, and it's not all F-35s.
I agree. I'm always laughing that we're trying to team with F-35s. It cracks me up. It's like, if I'm an F-35 pilot 10 years from now, I don't want to be in the air at all. It's going to be terrifying. I'm going to be around a bunch of these things that can go like way more G's than I can because I'm a human. Like it doesn't, the teaming with F-35s, I get why. Well, here's my theory.
How much further away can you see your enemy than he can see you? Right?
That's the game.
If you've got that standoff and you've got something that can reach out and touch him at that standoff, so that by the time he sees you, you have seen, fired, and are on the way out the door.
But why even have a human up there? You know, I guess like, I know why, because this is my theory. Air Force pilots, like, that's how they like, you know, impress chicks at bars. Like, I'm an Air Force. So the Air Force doesn't want to lose their jobs because that's like how they get chicks. That's my theory. But like, honestly, I don't want to be in the air against these things. It's like an autonomous ship. And if I shoot it, no one dies. So like, it's more fearless than me as a pilot. So I guess I reject the whole premise.
So then it becomes a cost exchange question.
Well, I just reject the premise of collaborative. Like, why collaborate with humans is really I guess maybe you can educate me, but I don't think the pilots should really even exist in the future.
Okay, so let's bring it down to like the super tactical level, because I think the analogy kind of holds. If I'm a soldier or a Marine, and 10 years ago, I had a mortar team. I had some direct fire weapons, right? I could call in, right, artillery. I could call in an airstrike, something. Now, what if that same squad has the ability to put this in the air, these in the air, that thing in the air, right? All at the same time, and control them, one controlling many, which is something that we've demonstrated, right? We're moving down this path as fast as we possibly can. So now I have a lance corporal who has the combat power of a company of soldiers from 2 decades ago, right? So I look at the Air Force and I think that's just sort of a scaled up version of that.
It makes sense. It's just that, I mean, I just think that these are going to be incredibly capable systems that can maneuver better than a human pilot could maneuver. So we'll see. Maybe it's good to have one human in the air still, though.
We'll see.
Maybe. I'm very interested. Anyways, I love this. I like to follow the CCA news. I think it's good for the listeners because it's like such a big program and a lot of people want to win it, and it's going to be very, very competitive. So that's a good one. The other one I like is USVs. Do you guys BlueHalo has a USV? They have a new one. I saw it at the SOCOM, that Soft Week.
No.
The BlueHalo has like a boat.
No. Oh, so BlueHalo has
the USV, like the unmanned surface vehicle.
No, not a USV. BlueHalo has a fantastic business that they recently acquired called Video Ray that does undersea.
I know Video Ray, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Pottstown.
Yeah. I almost sold my friend's company to them back in the day.
No kidding.
Yeah. I was broker dealering. I'm a banker of sorts. That's right. Yeah, I'm a great banker.
You're a Renaissance man.
I banked my own deal to DoorDash, so I'm a banker. I had no banker. My VCs they went nuts. They were like, Steve, you need a banker.
How did that work?
I was like reading the law books at night. I was just fucking trying to figure. I didn't want to give him 5% of my deal, so I was like, I'll bank my own deal.
I love it.
And I got Open Table. I got other company. I got like banked all these other competitors. I got Open Table to the table.
Really?
Yeah, bro. I'm like a classic banker, bro. Masquerading as a podcast tech bro.
Tech bro,
bro.
banker bro.
Yeah.
God, where's your Patagonia vest? Let's go.
I know. Come on. I know. I didn't wear it today. But yeah, no, I could bank, I'll bank for you guys someday. We'll see. I'm a great one. Actually, in defense, you need good bankers. You need some good corp dev guys.
Yeah.
But what were we saying? We were talking about USVs.
Yeah, we're talking about USVs.
So they acquired Video Ray, which I know very well.
Yeah.
I know the company very well.
Our space in USVs right now is how do they see the world? How do they interact with their environment?
Yeah.
Right? That's what AV provides.
Okay. So you're actually you're like adding brains to these things. You're helping, you're basically augmenting. I think they are going to need that because I've seen a lot of these boats in the water from some of these companies and they need some help. So team up with them a bit.
And then the Navy is still working through like, what is its like durable, sustainable, every ocean CONOP, right?
Oh my God. The Navy's going to be working through that forever.
Right. that makes this a thing that's not just for one particular CONOP, but for, right?
Look, the Navy, I think is the biggest bureaucracy of all the branches. Personally, I was in the Navy. My sister's a commander in the Navy, so she's a SWO, 20 years. And my dad was enlisted in the Navy. We're basically a Navy family.
Okay.
But the Navy, I think, as far as defense tech startups go, like it's one of the harder ones to work with, just because they're a little more bureaucratic than Army, Marines, in my experience, in the Air Force. So they're like going to look at this USV market for, I think, a long time. So I think a lot of these USV companies need to have enough capital to weather that storm, basically, because it's going to be a while.
It is going to be a while, and the barriers to entry are pretty low.
They are pretty low,
and everybody's there.
There's so many. But what do you think in the Pacific we need? Like what do we? I mean, there's a lot of water.
So what defines the Pacific? Right?
I mostly mean like from China out to like Taiwan down to like Australia. Indo-Pacific.
Like what defines that? Like what are the attributes of that theater? Right? Distance. Right? That makes logistics difficult. That makes sensing difficult.
Yeah.
Right? That makes moving to the objective difficult. Right? All of those things are done in totally different timescales.
Yeah.
Right? Than my fellow ground pounders.
It is distance. I mean, these things aren't really going to be working over there. They don't have distance.
No.
Little drones.
Yep.
No, you need it's the more exquisite stuff, actually, in many ways, I think. Like for the missiles, like things that can go longer range are important over there.
The distances that can be covered by less expensive or even inexpensive drones are shrinking every day. And that is the sort of way in for a lot of new companies, right?
Yeah.
How can I produce 1,000 nautical mile solution, right, to the Navy problem, but do it right at less than $1 million, at less than $500,000,
yeah,
right, less than $250,000.
And then on the small USV boat side, I guess the one use case I thought of, I don't know, by the way, I'm not a military tactician, so, but like if Taiwan got blockaded, maybe they in the harbor of Taiwan they could like drive out a bunch of little kamikaze boats or something.
I mean, turning any island into a porcupine, right?
Yeah, it's probably pretty good.
Kind of the answer, right? And you're going to have layers. You're going to be reaching out far. You're going to be, and then as somebody approaches your shores, right? You just have one layer after another, and those are undersea, on sea, right, in the air, and they're going to have autonomy, right? They're going to have to be able to know where they are going, and then once they get there, all of the modeling of the things that are adversary things, and then how to address those things.
Yeah,
right.
That makes sense.
I mean, nobody has invented a new wing in, I don't know,
ever
50, 60 years, right? So the evolution of all of these systems is software.
It is. We have to talk about China a bit because if we do, then we get higher ratings on YouTube.
Is that right?
You know why? Because the CCP, like they listen and then they like put fake comments on like, no, China's actually sweet. Don't listen to this podcast. Like our episodes that we talked about China the most have always the most views.
Oh, I love it.
It's so funny because they just have like people who like their job is to listen to American like podcasts and like write comments that say like, oh no, China's actually very nice and awesome.
The biggest psyop.
Dude, they have a lot of people, so they need to have some jobs for them. So like some people's jobs there are to watch YouTube videos like this. That's what they do.
Oh my God.
I was like, this is so funny. They're coming to the drone ultimatum, which they don't even realize is actually just a giant misinformation campaign, obviously. I don't even know. I don't even prep. I have no idea. Who are you?
Right. Our prep session.
Yeah. Who's this guy?
It was.
He can go 30 kilometers. What? I have no clue. That's so funny. I remember when I had to, when I was in the nuclear Navy and a top secret clearance, and I wanted to go to Moscow for like with my friends and having to get cleared by the State Department to go. And I was like, guys, Russia knows how to make a nuclear powered submarine. Like it's not like the secrets are that crazy, bro. Like, let me go. Anyway, they approved it and all got to go. But
what did you see? Were you impressed with what you saw?
Well, I don't know. So basically we went in January and we were 22 years old. We were ensigns and like we were trying to party basically. And I saw some cool nightclubs. I went to, this is actually crazy. I don't know if I've told this story on air, if it's appropriate or not. We went to a gay club in Moscow, and it's hard to find a gay bar in Moscow, like really hard.
I imagine.
Because they're like very xenophobic and they hate gay people. And when they went in there, I'm straight. I was like, this is my gay friend. And it blew their mind. They were like, wait, you have gay friends? I was like, yeah, it's America. Like, we have a gay friend. Like, it's freedom here. Like, what do you, they're like, dude, honestly, the Russian guys were like, what? They never like experienced that. Honestly, it was so sad. I was like, oh man, this country sucks.
Wow.
I was like, I don't want to be here. But no, it was so cold. There was snow everywhere. Went to the Red Square was cool. Went to some museums. The museums are cool because they have like all these like Genghis Khan, like golden chariots and stuff.
Did you see Lenin?
I didn't see Lenin. No. We did do a polar bear club. We did Google Translate and found a Moscow river. They were chiseling out the river and then they were getting naked and jumping into the river. And I didn't jump in because I was too cowardly, but my friends did. It was crazy. They were like, we'd never seen Americans do this with us before. So they said to us.
How much vodka was flowing before that dip?
They had a bunch. I was the one guarding all of the gear in case the Russians like stole it. Like I was like, and I'm like, look at me, I'm guarding the gear. Like, okay, like they're gonna easily take me down. Anyway, so we spent 9 days there, and I'm glad I went because I don't think we can ever really go again. I mean, I certainly can't. I mean, we can't go. They'll take us. They'll detain us.
I can't.
But I mean, you definitely can't. They don't know me yet as much, but you can't. But like, yeah, I don't think we'll be able to go in our lifetime. I mean, who knows? Like 20, maybe 30 years from now, if we get some like peace again, I have no idea.
So I grew up for part of my childhood on the edge of the Iron Curtain, and that changed dramatically. Things change. You never know.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it would be cool if like we had more peace. that'd be really cool. Like, no one really wants war. It sucks.
Well, the whole purpose of our industry, right, is to create an offset advantage so that we don't have to get there.
I know. It just sucks that we have to do that. You know what I mean? Like, it sucks that humans are like that. I always think about this. Like, we have to do that.
You've met people though before.
Yeah,
though,
I know.
right?
I know. No, I get it. It's like, it's just, I mean, that's why, I'm doing it. That's why I'm doing this with you. Like, that's why we do this.
Yeah.
It's just, it's kind of like, it's necessary, but a little sad, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I wish we could, why can't we just all get along? You know? Like, world peace. Why don't, and so now you have to keep iterating on the Switchblade, which good segue, since we have AUSA coming up. I would love, and I know we'll be under embargo, so we won't ruin the press release, but like, let's talk about the new product.
Yeah. So
and why you made a new Switchblade.
So basically. Switchblade is a family, right?
It's a family.
This is the 300, right? Small, put a couple of them in your rucksack.
Right here.
600, a little bit bigger, longer legs, more capable. You know, there's just more size, weight, and power to do interesting things. A variant optimized for the air, right? A new variant from the ground, right, with better capability, more autonomy, right, more the ability to do things that the current ones, even though I'm not sure I've seen another system that does what this does, the new ones are even more eye-watering. So that's coming out at AUSA.
What's the number
very
behind
excited
it?
about
Switchblade,
that.
what can you say?
It's all coming.
Okay.
It's all coming.
And is it supposed to be more exquisite, less exquisite? What's the...
Yeah, so the capabilities will be more exquisite. But we have learned some manufacturing lessons, right?
So you're getting more capable.
Engineers don't sleep, right?
Yeah.
And so...
Well, mine do. You know, it's called, our joke in our company, it's called afternoon control systems. You like that?
Are you guys on Aloha time out there?
I have a lot of weird engineers. They just like work like noon to midnight. They just work like offset schedule, you know?
And they crush it.
They crush it.
Right.
But afternoon controls.
Yeah, there's a direct correlation between the oddness of the person, right? And the capability and the outputs.
And we got some odd people, yeah. Okay, so we have a couple of new products coming then.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, and will they all be on display at the booth?
They will.
Do I have a special chair at the booth? Where's my seat at the booth?
You should.
I'll be at the booth a lot.
As a media personality, you should come to the media. You should come to the media event.
We are doing when is the media event, by the way?
Tuesday morning.
Oh yeah, we should come to the media event. Do a live
Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah,
ours is.
Yeah, we're doing a live taping of the Drone Ultimate, a live show from AUSA.
Excellent.
Yeah. But we should, I'll talk to your team. We'll come to the media event too. Is your CEO going to be there?
He is. Wahid Nawabi.
I didn't want to say his name. I didn't want to mess it up. I messed it up to him once, and he said, no, it's Wahid.
Yeah, Wahid. So I don't know how much time you've spent with Wahid.
Just that the Commanders game.
He has got a story.
I mean, lay it on me.
It's fantastic.
How did he become the CEO of AeroVironment? Yeah.
I will do it no justice.
Okay.
This is a
clip notes.
Yeah. This is a man who escaped on his own wit with younger daughters in tow Soviet-occupied Afghanistan.
Oh my God.
And makes his way, sans parents, to the United States, where he links up with his parents. Right? He is 15, 14, right? Like, it's a novel.
Crazy.
Right? He gets to the United States into suburban Maryland, and he goes to the University of Maryland, and he studies engineering, he studies business, and he joins industry, and he works his way, and he's done all of the things, right? On the engineering side, on the production side, on the program management side, on the sales and marketing and so forth, and not just at AV, right? But at a number of different companies.
Yeah.
Right. This is a guy with boundless energy, and a lot of dynamism. And
I could tell that when I met him. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you see it in the first 10 seconds, and vision. And so he makes his way up, and 8, 9, 10 years ago, he becomes CEO of AV, and has just taken us on this rocket ship.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild. From from fleeing Afghanistan to CEO of one of the biggest defense companies.
The sort of Russian karma is real.
Someone's got to do a profile on that. Someone should do that's a book. That's a biography.
It is. It's a book. It's a movie.
I'll tell David Jeans to get on that. You saw my Warlord article. Did you see that?
Tell me.
Oh, go to put up Reuters, Simone. I don't know if you know this, but you're talking to a real warlord. Me. How?
I did see this.
Yeah,
I definitely saw this.
Go down. Okay, this is unfair reporting, but this was a joke, by the way. This reporter followed me to a movie premiere. I produced this movie about Ukrainian dancers,
and you're dressed like a mobster from the Caucasus.
And because I brought this date, and I was joking, but I was like, oh, and he's like, wow, nice outfit, Steve. I was like, yeah, I'm a warlord, bitch. And I was like, he actually quote the next part of the quote was, "This is my war bride," and I had this chick with me. And then it's like, okay. Then he proceeded to, follow me around for a couple months and do a profile. But I think it's much more interesting to profile your CEO, because I'm just like a tech pro. But this article had a little bit of my PR team. We were a little nervous, but it turned out really well. So thank you, David Jeans, if you're listening. We really appreciate you. Thanks for the article. The investors loved it. It worked out. But yeah, so you're talking to a real warlord.
So one of the things I want to ask you actually is, so you're coming up here in the defense tech space, right?
Yeah.
You're raising a lot of money, right? You've done a lot of the business and the deal part of this already yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got that heritage, but you're entering a really crowded market at a time, right? Especially 5-6 years ago, where cash is cheap. Right. And suddenly there's all of this money flowing into it.
Yeah.
And even still, maybe not quite as much as before, but there's a significant amount of investment coming in here. The barriers to entry are relatively low. The overlap with the commercial technology space is super high. What are the challenges, and what are the things that you're having to address with your monopsony customer in the department, right, that make your life and your ability to field systems difficult?
Well, our one thing that saves us is Luke Allen, our co-founder, with his prescient vision and knowledge. He picked a product space that was no one was really working on. We got lucky. So basically we go to these competitions and no one shows up, because no one can hit a moving drone with a bullet in 7.62 round. It's just there's Kongsberg, and then they're trying to add autonomy to the Crows. But there's no there's no Anduril, or there's no AeroVironment, BlueHalo. There's no company or prime that's well funded and hungry that's I'm gonna spend 3 years building an autonomous weapon station. It's just not happening. So that's pretty much where we get lucky. We just don't really compete. So that's just us. We're competing with the bureaucracy.
Yeah.
We compete with the bureaucracy. We compete with the investors, but we're not competing with industry.
Yeah.
That's the key. We just sit around with ourselves, kind of.
You have found a market. I'm gonna sort of brag on your concept for a second.
Thanks.
You have found this market segment that, number one, is already wrapped into the doctrine, organization, training, logistics, manning of the services, specifically the Army and the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Of course, SOCOM too. The remote weapon station market already exists, right? Your capability,
it's an AI-powered gimbal,
is adding right? A counter UAS, like I envision it as, you know, I'm going to toggle between manual direct fire and, right, autonomous guard, right? To address the sort of at least the most well-reported of the new threats, right?
That's pretty much it.
In drones, right? Providing counter UAS on top of something that will always be required in a remote weapon station.
Yep.
Right.
And our competitor Kongsberg, they're very nice to us. I mean, we're going to probably partner with them and stuff, but they said they were going to they want to add that capability to the Crows by end of next year. And so that's like what? It's like 14 months. But I don't think the thing is they can't because the mechanics won't work. I told them this too. Like they have to go straight up. Like they can't do top attack and they can't whip around and they can't like spin fast enough.
Yeah.
You have to change the whole product and then write all the new software. So the capability is not coming. It's not coming from anyone really. So I feel pretty good about it. And I've told them this. I was like, there's no way you're upgrading the Crows to hit drones. This is not happening.
And you can field all of them with no changes to Army or Marine Corps force design.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
If you invent a new product category, as AV did, right? That requires like, wait a minute. I've got a Lance Corporal who can now reach out to 40 kilometers. That
changes doctrine and stuff.
That is well beyond where that Lance Corporal was previously responsible for.
Yeah.
Right. So you've got a doctrinal change and you've got a force design change. Like all of that takes a long time.
Yeah, exactly. So that's harder, but the payoff is great for shareholders and stuff if you can do that. But that's really difficult. And a lot of I don't think a lot of startups when they're starting this realize like all of that process change that would have to happen to incorporate a new product. But we don't do any of that.
And you found the segment that does not have that problem.
Well, Luke found the segment. Luke Allen, who I can't wait for you to meet someday. The company makes a lot more sense when you meet my co-founder, the CTO. He's really brilliant. I met him in the Navy 17 years ago.
Okay.
He's my lifelong second wife business partner. But the day I met him, I knew I had to like business partner with him after the Navy. So like he went back to after the Navy, we moved to San Francisco, and he went back to Stanford for robotics masters, and I took a job in sales. I was selling marketing software. I don't know, randomly after the nuclear Navy to marketing software sales, and we were like nights and weekends trying to do our own startups. And I failed our first couple startups failed, but our third one, the restaurant tech one, succeeded. And then after that, we were like, okay, we have more money now. Let's do. Like
and you sold to who? DoorDash.
Yeah. So then after we made that and sold that, we were like, okay, well, now we have more money. And Russia just invaded Ukraine the day that deal closed to DoorDash, and we were like, oh my god, we need to help. Like we got to do something. Like let's not like do food tech. Like we need to do something much more important with our lives.
There we go.
And so we took money we made and we called our early investors and we're like, we're doing a new company. We're going to shoot all these drones out of the sky. That was basically it.
Doesn't it make it easy to get up in the morning?
It's way better.
Right.
Yeah. Honestly, it's way more fulfilling than food tech, restaurant tech. I love restaurant owners. They're salt of the earth. They're backbone of the economy, the restaurant industry.
Yeah.
But this is way more like important and useful and fun. And all those restaurant owners who supported us over the years, now they cheer us on in the defense world. They're like, Steve, the guy who used to make our point of sale systems, making gun turrets.
I love it.
So they all like cheer it on.
But I mean, like, you got an organization, you have one, right? You got nearly 100 people doing this for you, right? I work in an organization where everybody gets up in the morning, right, with a mission in mind, right, and a set of operational end users in mind, and like you don't need much else, right?
No.
That is motivating enough.
It's amazing,
right?
Yeah, Luke is. If you talk to Luke, he thinks he's put on this earth to defeat Putin. He says that's his life's mission. It's got to stop him.
I love it.
I know. And so he gets up. It's actually way better because when I used to have to ask him to code a feature for restaurants, he'd be like, I don't want to build this. I'm tired. But now I don't have to ask him anything. He gets up. He wants to build this every day. He's like building the shit out of it.
How do you feel? Or like, how does it feel on the in terms of talent acquisition? And I'll tell you how it feels on our side.
Way more. Well, way easier.
Way easier.
Because like they want to work on this now. The kids, all the kids coming out of college, like they want to work on defense and do that cool defense stuff.
Yep.
And so like that's way better because no one wants to write the 19th point of sale system for a restaurant.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great. I'm sure you see it too.
So we had an intern class this summer. We'll call it somewhere between around 150 interns. It might have been closer to 200.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the number. We had a group of interns, 17,000 applicants,
That's crazy.
right?
That's absurd.
The quality of these kids, first of all, the kids are going to be okay,
Yeah.
right? America is going to be
Yeah,
okay.
that's crazy.
The quality of these humans, incredible, right? Really awesome. And then they come up to you and they're going back for their third year, right, at an Ivy, or their third year at a, you know, a great Cal, like technical school. And they're like, maybe you could, you know, put me in for a security clearance, and we could sort of ink something, and I'll you know, come back when I graduate.
Yeah.
Or I've already seen it and you seem to like me a lot, and so maybe I won't need to go back.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe we could just start this now, because the whole point of this degree was to get to the job that, right.
That's crazy.
You're now offering to me.
Yeah.
Right.
It's wild.
Yeah.
I know we had this girl, Jen, she was at Princeton, and she's like going to be a senior this year. She was an intern this summer.
Yep.
She was like doing better computer vision than like some of our engineers. I was like, the kids are crazy here.
So we had one particular guy from Penn, right? Penn's got a fantastic computer science program. And this guy is knocking out a 6-year bachelor master's, right? Like program in 4.5 years.
Damn.
And
I hate to tell them what I did in college.
Right. And so, right. So the English major, right, sitting across from him is like, okay, tell me what you can do with our enclave of this LLM, right? Here are our problem sets, right? Tell me what you can do. And 72 hours later, he comes back and he's like, all right, so I've solved 8 of your 10 problems here.
Crazy.
Unbelievable.
I know. I'll tell you, I feel really, sometimes it makes me feel bad. I was an electrical engineer undergrad, and I've kind of forgot a lot of it, to be honest. Now I'm 39. Because if you don't use it, you lose it, you know, a little bit. Like, it's tough. And I'm not in it every day coding anymore or anything. So I see the kids now and I'm like, damn, can't do it. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, they're fluent speakers.
I know. It makes me feel like I wasted my degree of it, but it worked out, obviously. But
you did
like,
okay.
I love I just like engineering's so fun. And Luke, when I met Luke in the Navy, I was like, wow, this is a much better double E than me. And I'm very competitive. So I'm like, I'll sell whatever you make, bro. I was like, you got it. I can't do the double E like you can. So I was like, I'll just, whatever you got, bro.
Yeah, man.
Let's do it. Wait, hey, topic list. Let's go. Jamie, pull up the topic list. We had a couple
We've
other
covered
good.
most of it. Golden Dome.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
want to talk
Gotta
Golden Dome. We
Dome.
gotta talk
Yeah,
Golden
And
Dome.
limited area defense.
Yeah, we gotta talk Golden Dome because I know you guys are doing some work there now.
We
You
are.
mentioned General Atomics, like a little teaming partnership. Like, what's the high level strategy first?
Very quick on the General Atomics thing. You got a system that is reaching out in the high tens of kilometers, right, from the ground. What happens if you put it at 15, 17,000 feet? What does that do to the range, right? What capabilities does that add to the platform, right? To make that platform, you know, right, more usable, et cetera, more applicable in different scenarios, different ConOps. The demonstration is that this system can go, you know, pick your aircraft, right?
Yeah,
So
flexible.
So sort of proof of concept. We all see the executive order, back to Golden Dome. We all see the executive order, right, early in the administration. And we understand sort of the broad brushstrokes of what the requirement set is here. And right, it's space domain awareness, right? It's the ability to track and intercept, right? Ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, hypersonics, et cetera. And then as you get down, right, it's defending, right, point locations. So as I think about a risk matrix, you've got impact and you've got likelihood, right? The impact of a hypersonic missile strike or a ballistic missile strike would be severe.
Yeah.
The likelihood, lower. The impact of somebody strapping some C4 onto a DJI, right? Lower impact, much higher likelihood. Look at Operation Spider's Web, right? Ukrainians are in a sunny afternoon reducing, right, the Russian strategic bombing fleet by a quarter, by a third, right? In an afternoon, 2,000 to 2,800 miles away from the front line. Whoa, that's eye-opening.
That is.
That suddenly puts everything else, right, worldwide at risk, right? From that, okay, so how do we respond to that? You know, in the U.S., it's not a technology problem, right? For most of the homeland defense side, it's a regulatory and statutory problem. Congress knows this, right? But if you are surveilling the skies and are seeing the drones, EOIR, right? Radar, you're seeing the drone, but you're also seeing the spectrum. And so you're seeing the link between the drone and the operator. That's a warrantless wiretap,
Oh, wow.
right? that becomes a real policy problem.
Yeah.
What we're hoping is that, right, the leading thinkers in Congress are going to, right, not just recognize that they already have, but be able to build the support to resolve that policy problem before we have an event, right, which will then cause it to be resolved anyway.
That makes sense.
Right? So back to the risk matrix. What is the likely threat? Regardless of the severity, what is the likely threat? The likely threat is a disaffected person, right, a non-state actor, right, a state-sponsored, right, with some limited technology and a little bit of kinetic, right? And how do we get after that? That is like right in AV's trade space.
Mm.
So we partnered with SNC, Sierra Nevada Corporation. SNC is, and I'm biased because I work there. SNC is one of the best systems integrators that I'm aware of. Right, they're fantastic.
One of the best. I love them.
Right, and they do it for a lot of people. They do it very well. So we have a number of capabilities and layers of software. Right, they have a long history of integrating things. Right, this is the right partnership.
Yep.
And we're going to get after the part of Golden Dome, which is right limited. The line of effort called limited area defense. Right, point defense, and that could be, civilian critical infrastructure, energy critical infrastructure, military critical infrastructure, right? Post camps and stations, air bases, right? Et cetera, et cetera.
Et cetera, et cetera.
Right? You get the idea.
No, I get it. Point defense.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, point defense. Got to
Right?
throw some bullfrogs in there,
Layered,
bro.
exactly. Layer defense. You got the inner layer, then you've got,
Then this is the last line.
right? So,
That makes sense.
directed energy,
Yeah.
right? What's another layer? Like I need to reach out further than a 240, no problem. At some point you're gonna put a 30 millimeter on there,
Of course.
right? You're gonna be able to reach out further. You want to reach out even further? Directed energy,
Directed energy.
right? High energy laser.
What about the boost phase interceptor? Like you're not doing like the, they want to like be able to capture like intercontinental ballistic missiles in the boost phase.
So the ABL program, airborne laser program, 15 years ago, right, was thinking about this. They wanted to put a chemical laser on a 747. Okay, from a conceptual perspective, that means you're going to have 747s airborne
all the time.
proximate to the boost phase.
Not really realistic.
Not sure how that plays out.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think that plays out
in,
right.
in practice.
Yeah.
But
Golden Dome.
we've got cartels moving things across the border. Right. Tunnels get sealed up. They put things on drones. They move them across the border on drones.
Yep.
Right. There's a problem set there. There's a problem set, that extends from hobbyists to what we saw on at a couple of military installations a year ago or more, where suddenly there were things in the sky that weren't identified or identifiable, and we didn't know where they came from, and we're not sure what they're doing. Right.
Yeah.
All resolvable, right, by RF counter UAS and directed energy.
What do you think the best solution is to the Iranian Shahed?
Yeah, that's interesting. So, big gun systems, right? Limited area of coverage, but if you're putting them around critical targets, big gun systems, right, work. I mean, there are German systems from the Cold War,
Black Panzer, Gepard, or whatever.
right?
Yeah.
Gepard that have been deployed, very effective.
Yeah.
Right. The bigger gun systems, right,
Yeah.
work. It depends on
As they become more EW hardened too. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm curious too because they're mass producing these. Iran is,
They're
Russia is.
they're also getting shot down
They are
from
getting
the,
shot
they're getting
down.
shot down from the air,
They are.
right? So you've got rotorcraft and you've got fixed wing going after those. The problem is you've got a cost exchange program problem,
Yeah.
right? Whether I'm shooting it down from the air or whether I'm shooting it down from the ground, if the thing that I'm shooting is more expensive than the thing that's coming at me, eventually that cost curve is going to catch up with me.
There's wild reports of how much those things cost. It's unclear, really. Like,
Right.
They vary. wildly.
Since nobody in this hemisphere is going to be buying things from the Iranian market, like I'm not sure if that's right.
I saw I could buy one on Alibaba.
Did
You
you?
can buy a Shahed, yeah. You can buy a Shahed.
You buy a Shahed on Alibaba?
Yeah. I kind of want to get one.
Yeah. But, like, what is that? That's like a group 3, give or take?
Yeah, it's group 3.
Right? So group 3s are now at risk from directed energy.
Yeah.
Right? By the way, on the top, like when I say directed energy, I'm talking
Like
about
Locust.
I'm talking about Locust. I'm talking about laser weapon systems.
Yep.
The hard problem there is less the laser. Lots of people are doing the laser. There's some really good ones out there. It's the pointing and tracking.
Yeah. That's
Right?
what your CEO told me at the Commander's game.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
Exactly right. If you get the pointing and tracking right, AV has gotten the pointing and tracking right, then suddenly the 25 kilowatt laser that didn't seem powerful enough to do anything when you couldn't keep the beam focused on something, right, is now taking down group 1, group 2, group 3.
Yeah.
Right? Well, why don't we upgun that to 50 kilowatt, 100 kilowatt, 150 kilowatt, 300 kilowatt? Now it's not just group 1 through 3,
everything.
right? Like you're putting missiles at risk, you're putting cruise missiles at risk, you're putting lots of things at risk at a cost per shot measured in single dollars.
Yeah. No,
Right?
I agree. How do you feel about, we've been trying to put lasers on warships for like 50 years. There's still not one.
So
what are your thoughts on that? Like,
yeah, so
I know lasers sound cool on like the podcast and stuff, but I haven't really seen any on the battlefield.
So
really.
we have a lot of recent experience here that I cannot talk about. It is coming, right? And why? The Navy has been working the laser problem for more than a decade.
I would say for 5 decades.
Right. And, and we've seen, right, a couple of systems that are out there deployed already. Deployed is an interesting, maybe overstates it, but they're sort of in demo and test. Not particularly effective. Well, if your beam is doing this, right, then not particularly effective at a much higher power than the systems we've demonstrated, which are really effective.
Yeah.
So, ship self-defense, right, in a containerized form factor where you don't have to build it into the ship, right, with your SCN dollars, your shipbuilding construction money, right, as the ship is being commissioned. You just roll it on, roll it off, right? It's got an open architecture. You can tie it into the system or leave it standalone, right? And it's just as good for your big deck amphib as for your CVN, as for your Aegis, as for your. That's
cool,
right?
I should show you our laser variant called Stingray. It's very tiny.
This is a Dazzler.
It's the Dazzler.
Yeah,
one. Yeah, and it's just for like stadiums, like for homeland stuff. Like it's not burning through the drone. It's just dazzling the camera, blinding the camera. Yeah, that's cool. I like the lasers. Lasers are fun.
And you probably have that at a price point where
it's cheap.
Yes, it makes sense for that market.
It's small. It's like you can just put it on any like little thing, and if an FPV with a camera comes at, it just blinds it. So like it still flies.
Totally.
But you can't see where you're going.
Yeah.
So that's like kind of how we do it. We're always against the small drones. You know? That's our back to the niche market segment.
Right.
Tiny drones close in.
But if you can demonstrate, right, success, right, in an edible or in a consumable bite size, right, then you will scale from there.
And you can get a foothold. You can get in and you can go. Yeah.
I'm driven to distraction by like I have the one app that solves them all.
Yeah.
Right. My thing does everything. Does it? Let's talk about change management and how hard that is.
Pretty much none of them do everything. That's so funny when people try that. Say that though.
No. We're gonna demonstrate the thing that works, right? And sort of at the warfighter, right, soldier, sailor, airman, marine level, they're going, whoa, yes, I want that, and it works, right? We're approaching it from that perspective, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of marketing.
So with the BlueHalo acquisition done now, and I think you've made some other small ones like that Tomahawk Robotics company, which I know Colin well.
Colin Broadmerkle?
I'll see him at AeroVironment. I like him.
Oh, he's fantastic.
So you got a couple acquisitions. I guess what's the company size now, employee count wise?
We're edging up on 4,000.
So that's like relative to Lockheed. That's like
like
80,000.
Yeah, I mean less than a tenth, a 20th.
Yeah, but
right.
But still, there's a lot of room to grow here. I mean, we're talking.
There's a lot of room to grow. So, like, what does that look like? Like, how do you scale? How do you scale a company?
How do you go from
that's sort of like at the mid-tier level, right? As you grow
to become a big boy, probably.
Right? well, you got to pick your investments wisely, right? Like, where are we putting our CapEx and OpEx, right, to scale to get to the next thing? Do we have access to capital that's going to allow us to do that?
Mm-hmm.
We had a debt and equity fundraise this summer. I think we raised over $1.5 billion. We were oversubscribed almost 10x on that. We could have raised, right, $12, $15 billion if we wanted to, right? We knew what the targets were. We knew what the investments we needed to make. We understood the costs that we needed, right, associated with integration, right? We raised the amount of money we needed to raise. Boom, now we can make the investments. The new administration is moving really fast on the way it's procuring, right? Sort of its philosophical approach to procurement. And, getting back to the Paparo, right, Admiral Paparo's sort of diagram, right? They want to introduce lots of new competition. They want to introduce lots of new technology. And they don't want to do that in the traditional federal acquisition-based, right, regime, right? That would, you start with a 2-year development cycle, and then you move into low rate, right, initial production, and then 4 years down the road, now you're in full rate production. The technology is moving too fast for that, right? We don't have time for that. We want to buy off-the-shelf things. So for a company like us, company like you, right, you identify the market, you know that you're going to have to put your own IRAD, internal R&D, into that, right? AV historically invests 12, sometimes 15% of revenue into IRAD, right? We are plowing money at like 3-4x the normal like A&D industry rate into IRAD, right? We look into the crystal ball, we see the CONOP, we see the capability that's needed, we see the gap, right? We invest that IRAD, we come to the market with the solution, right? All hand in glove with the people who are doing requirements, with the people who are doing concepts, right? Et cetera, et cetera.
This is really the new model, though. I mean, this is what's changed.
But this is the way we're going to have to go.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, to move faster, we have to as a in country, really.
And it means that it means that like some of that, what had traditionally been government risk, right? Industry is going to have industry is going to have to take aboard.
I know, and I think the government likes that.
Yeah,
they should try to save taxpayer money. Trying,
but does it deliver?
I don't know.
Can you execute? Right? What are the examples of the new startups and the VC backed and the non-traditionals? Like, where have they gone beyond the prototype?
I don't think it hasn't really delivered yet.
So if Wahid were sitting here, he would say, hey, all this prototyping is outstanding. We have to do more of it. 90% of the problem is not the prototype. It's moving it into production and fielding.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's the hard piece, right? You've worked supply chain issues.
Very tough.
Right?
Well, Jack, how did we do today? Look at this fucking thing.
I think we covered it.
I mean, we crushed it. I think that AeroVironment's going places. Yeah, you know what you should do is you should sponsor the podcast. You guys, it's a small marketing fee.
Oh, I didn't realize I was getting pitched today.
You could sponsor it. I mean, for just $25,000 a month.
That's it?
Yeah, it's a good deal. And you get your logo on the podcast, like on the band, like when people watch it. And I'll go read a couple segments for a podcast. Say, this podcast is sponsored by AeroVironment, the maker of Switchblade 300, led by.
But not constantly. It's just on a banner.
You get a
banner.
A banner, like a scroll bar.
Yeah, it's correct.
Yeah. Think about it. If you sponsored the podcast, I mean, that's a huge reach. Huge reach. We're popping off. We're one of the favorite podcasts of the SEAL Team 6. Yeah.
Nice.
They love it. They actually love when I make fun of 3D printing. That's like one of my shticks on the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm always ripping on 3D printing because that's what China laughs at us about. They see all these like companies that are like, we're going to 3D print at the edge. And China's like, I'm going to make 1 million drones with an injection mold. Nice 3D printers, America. I think 3D printing is like cope. It's also like, it's like an engineer mind virus. Like engineers got 3D printers in high school and they're like, oh, I can make anything.
Groupthink.
And it's like, no, that's trashy. Imagine if you 3D printed the Switchblade, it would be horrible. But like China, that's like China's favorite thing America does is we think we can 3D print our way out of our mess. It's sad.
How do you guard against the sort of hot new idea that you haven't really critically thought about it?
I mean, I'll tell you, I'm a huge anti-additive manufacturing guy. I'm so anti. A lot of people in the government get mad at me they're like, Steve, you don't get it. If we're on an island stuck there, we can make our own parts. And I'm like, if you need to make your own parts on the island, you're fucked. Like, it cracks me up. I feel like something in the Pentagon's gone wrong there, where they think 3D printing at the edge is like smart. Like it's fully like, I think they've lost their mind on this one.
Have you read a book called The Madness of Crowds?
No.
I'll give you a copy.
I need to.
I'll give you a copy.
Because I think I'm providing a public service by making fun of this. Because like we need to like be critical of what we spend our money on.
We don't have time to go into these cul-de-sacs, right?
Yeah.
And just sort of ideate on something that, right? A little bit of critical thinking at the outset, right, would have led us down a different path.
Yeah, I do. I agree. Well, Church, this has been really fun. I thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this has been great.
You guys are doing great stuff.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. We're looking forward to conquering the world together.
Let's do it. All right, later.